Do you have any guess? Hello, can you hear me, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for this diagram here, no, A and B are short circuited, no. So the short circuit na siya again, sa ganito ito reason or sa ganito discussion or explanation na to anong term na short circuit. No? When you say short circuit, supposed to be current is directed, no? Supposed to be current is going to flow to the load, but because of this very low resistance na conductor or wire or material, the current is diverted, no, from the loads to the wire. No? So current is going to select between path, whichever path which have the least resistance is the probable path for current flow, no? But that doesn't mean nga walay kurente mo agi sa abang path. It's just that kani nga current diri compared to this current here would be small, no? So ang current nga mo agi diri sa load mo would be, no, for example I3 compared to for example I short circuit, no? So if you are going to compare the three, the I short circuit will be very large compared to I3. No? So there are still currents that's going to flow to R3, but that current is very small compared to the current that's going to flow on this wire. So that causes the wire here to melt, or worse, masunog siya. Masunog siya. So many comment ni Vincent. Okay, so because of that proportion sa current, that current in I3 or in R3 is very small in comparison to the current that is going to flow to the wire, that causes the wire here to melt, or as I've said, na tendency nga masunog siya. Okay, and that is the natural phenomena that occurs when you have a short circuit. Ang wire nga nakapa-short niya is, no, na tendency nga masunog. So for this example here, ang total equivalent resistance, no, because all of which are parallel. So kani naka-parallel sila. So R1, R2, and R3 are all connected in parallel. Because kani na connection here, no, and kani nga connection here can be combined, no? So pwede na to lang na ma-combine in such a way nga ang resistors R1, R2, R3 are connected in parallel across a wire with approximately zero resistance, so that the total resistance of the parallel combination is approximately, no, equal to zero. So muna ang total resistance nimo. So if this happens in your circuitry, expect that the current here, current na mo-supply diri total that is drawn by all the loads are assumed to be very, no, large, no? So dako kay nga current. Ang tendency ani is this wire here will not be the only one nga na ay problema, but ang main wire kaning ga-supply nimo diri nasa di siya problema, no? That is because asa man gikan ning kurentiha nga I short circuit. Kaning kurente nimo nga I short circuit is also coming from the supply current, diba? So ang kurente nga mangagi diri sa R1, call this I1, current diri nga musud sa resistor I2, and I3 are, no, I1 equal to I2 equal to I3, no, approximately equal to 0. So muna itong kuhan nga approximately tungod sa gamay or sa dako sa resistance sa R1, R2, R3 compared to the resistance of the wire, majority of the currents nga gisupply sa imong source will go through the short circuit. And not only that, because of the overall resistance nga almost zero, di ba? Kung yung ka nga total current IT is equal to supply voltage VT, so we call this VT, over the overall resistance RT, and look at the RT approximately 0. So this is very small. A number divided by a very small value, that is a very large value. Diba? So kani approximately 0. Any number divided by approximately 0 is approximately infinite. No? So meaning large kaya siya nga value, no? Muna kada yung tanga dako kay nga current. And as I have said, it's not only the short circuit wire that is going to get burned, but also the other wires, particularly the supply. So muna nga that happens, that is what is going to happen in our system. So what we do is we put here a fuse, no? Tangan to fuse, or in the form of circuit breaker. No? So kana mga circuit breaker na to or fuse are electrical devices designed to melt, or no, kung fuse ka, mo melt siya, or kaning mechanical aning sa circuit breaker to open when you have extremely large currents flowing. Okay? When you have a current that is above its rating, the tendency for the fuse to melt, or the mechanical for the breaker to open the breaker. So the purpose of opening the line here is when this is open, that will interrupt the flow. No? So ma-interrupt nimo ang flow sa current so that it will not further damage the circuit. So dili siya mo result to damage. Okay? So muna kanato mga breaker are kana mga low voltage breakers ato kanang gipanggamit ito sa balay are instantaneous strip breakers la, no? So kana mga instantaneous strip breakers matter of milliseconds lang mo trip na siya, no? If a short happens in a matter of milliseconds, muputol na siya dayon, no? Muputol na siya, so that this current here will not be able to stay longer. We know that heat is a product of time. So the magnitude of current multiplied by the time, so the magnitude of the square of the current times the time, that constitute the heat developed. So the amount of heat developed is reduced when your time is also reduced. So naglag si Kwan. Anyway, I think it's not uncommon, no, for you to have kwan kini mga lagging karon, no. So in fact, I have experienced this early this morning, a while ago, naglag, no, hinay kay kayo. So hopefully karon can you clearly hear my voice? Wala ra ko nag putol-putol?
Wala, yes, sir.
Okay
Wala
ra.
raman, sir.
Okay na. So nalang uban, no? So ato lang. Anyway, I forgot to record sad. Kalimot ko. Sige na lang. Sa sunod na lang ako, ha? 8 minutes na lang man. Putol na sa di siya dayon. Ato i-record niya. Remind ko. Okay na kuno kandakay. So na yung mga locations karon, understandable na siya, na yung mga locations karon from time to time mulag. Okay. So whatever load that is connected in parallel to the short circuit is mara siya ma-consider na to nga zero current, no? Assume nga zero current. So for example, kaning R1, R2 and R3 mo na parallel sa atong short circuit, all these currents I1, I2 and I3 are approximately zero. No? Pero nagana siya kurente ha. Na in fact, there was this question in I think in the quiz bowl, no? The question was between two paths, no? Na mga statements ba? One is very resistive and the other one is almost zero resistance. So na mga statement itong gipapilian, which statement is true. So daghang kay nasayop kaya ang ilang statement is current will flow only on the path with almost zero resistance. So majority of those who answered kato yung gipili nga answer, no? But that was wrong. That is because ang correct answer is current will pass, majority of the current will pass through the path with the least resistance. No? So majority means that some of this current, no, is still in the path you have resistance. So majority of the current supplied by the source, IT, is delivered in the short circuit, but there are some, no, a portion of that current, small portion of that currents are still flowing in I2, in I1, in I2, and in I3. But the magnitude in comparison, so the magnitude of I1, I2, and I3 is very small compared to the current in the short circuit. Okay? So, mo na ang sa ato ang short circuit. For example, kaning sa ikaduha, what would be the equivalent resistance here? No? In terms of equation lang. So, do you think ang current diri sa I1 is R1 is approximately zero? Same with this current here. So, kani, the obvious quadri is this current, no, R2, and this current here, I3, are almost zero. Di ba? In comparison to this current here, I short circuit, kaning duha, kaning current diri are very small. That is because they are connected in parallel to the short. So almost Y current diri. But there is a R1 o R4, no, ang current diri are not actually zero or approximately zero. In fact, kaning I4 diri is approximately equal to I short circuit. No, kasi sir, kanira may na short diri. Nganong approximately short circuit man na sila. That is because ang R3, ang R2 R3 nimo are approximately, no, zero currents, are with zero currents. That is because majority of the currents are flowing in the short circuit. So therefore, more siya equivalent diagram nimo ana would be you have R4, no, R1, while on this end here is the short circuit. Okay, so this is R1, this is R4. Kani ang imo ang short circuit. Sir, asa ang R1 ug R2? Baliwala na sila. No? Baliwala na sila. So anything nga walay kuryente, dili na siya matawag ito electrical. No? So dapat na ay kuryente to make it electrical. So ang kuryente diri, I short circuit approximately equal to this current here, I4. No? So kung tanawon nimo, kanira tuod ang na-short pero naapil og kasunog ang kaning diri nga linya. So kanang naapil man kasunog, diri raman ang nag-short. So naapil kasunog kay, as what I have said, approximately equal ang I4 nimo sa imong short circuit current. Okay? So that if I4 and I short circuit are almost or equal, approximately equal, then therefore, kanimo ang R4 diri in parallel sa R1. So therefore, ang ato ang RT is simply equal to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R4. That is the total resistance. Okay? So your IT here, total current will be bigger when you have a short circuit in the part, no? In a part of your circuit. So, questions so far? So, let me give you this scenario. No, let us, for example, look at R1 or think of R1 as our house. Imagine inyo ning balay. R2 is another neighbor nimo. Let us say R3 is your neighbor with a welding machine. No, your neighbor with a welding machine. Meaning, kanang ato mga balay na to, sa mga silingan na to, ato mga balay, we are all connected in parallel. Nakaparallel ta sa common supply. Walay balay na naka-series, puro ta nakaparallel. So, kung mag-welding, ang welding is a short circuit, no? Mura na si current transformer nga every time yan ang ikuha ng imong welding rod, it should produce a tremendous amount of heat exaggerated by the powder present in the rod, no, in your welding rod. So ang catalyst ang trigger is the high current produced by your arc machine or arc welding. So muna gitawag ng arc welding, that is the arc that ignites the powder, no, in the welding rod. So equivalent ng imo ang system every time mag-welding ka og short. So that if you notice nga kung naa kay silingan nga na mag-welding, every time mag-welding na siya, sa mo tagdako kay ang rating sa welding, every time mag-welding na, ang imo ang suga, no? Particularly kung suga nimo kanang incandescent katong bombilya sa una, makita nimo nga mo flicker siya, no, mo out siya, mo out. That is because kanang ya ang pag-out is a testament or is a hint that you are of the same voltage here sa imo ang welding arc.